So we're in Fresno, California, and we are at 965 East Sutton. We're just taking a look in the perimeter, see what type of piping is installed here for the not for the current homeowner, but for the interested buyer. What we've got here is you can see the white PVC stub up right there. It looks like 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, which I am assuming was stubbed up for a future sprinkler stub. Right here you can see copper, and it's kind of configured differently than most. I am assuming that somewhere down here in the ground you can see the soil clean out. That's the sewer pipe. Somewhere in here is probably a little box, a Christie box that has a shutoff valve. It may not, but there is one on the line for this little bib. Right there is a shutoff valve, and this hard copper line goes in. So I'd imagine in the soil is the shutoff for the home right here. Additionally, further down, you've got another line, and it is right here. And so you can see that's the sewer. There's the water going in, and here's the little Christie box I was telling you about. Don't see the valve down in there, but if you were to clean that out, I am guessing if there's a shutoff valve, that shutoff valve may be specific to the sprinklers, which would be unusual. And because there's only a shutoff on this copper line right here, which is freestanding. So I'm not sure how this is piped in, how this valve actually functions. Normally the piping that goes into the home is going to have a valve on it right here. There's not one, so I can only guess there's a valve underneath somewhere. However, outside of that, it's copper, which is much better than iron pipe, which is the trouble that they're having outside or out here in northeast Fresno. And then there is one more stub in, and it is copper as well. Same configuration right here, which is, I've never seen someone put a 1-inch copper line in with a shutoff valve for the hose bib and then separate stub in for the house. But anyways, 3 separate stub ins, all 1-inch lines, 1-inch copper. So probably plenty of volume for the home, and it is copper. So we'll take some pictures of anything else going on inside, and then we will get a report over to you, and that is it. Okay, so we are out in the garage, and so existing water heater. There's some repiping done, and they painted over this piping, but what you've got up here is a copper stub up for the cold shutoff valve, and then a separate line that goes out to some cold water. I'm not sure what they repiped cold. We'll have to get with the seller and see what that goes to. But there is a brand new hot water line coming off the water heater up into the attic. So whatever fixtures this water heater serves, you've got a brand new line going to it, and we'll have to determine what the cold line goes to separately. Outside of that, the only thing I see here that would be incorrect is the copper makes the transition to the iron pipe, the galvanized pipe fitting, and then back to a copper supply line. So this will corrode at some point. You're not supposed to mix those metals. And it's a sort of a simple fix. You just need brass in there. Get brass installed in there, replace this with stainless steel, and you're done. Everything else looks fine. It's not up to code or up to date, but as long as the home inspector was good with it, that's fine. And outside of that, that is it for this water heater. So just a quicker shot, or actually a closer shot of this, kind of hard to focus, but you could see the scale buildup on this fitting, especially where the 1/2-inch port is. It's beginning to deteriorate, and then up here you can see the corrosion as well. It's not leaking, weeping, there's not a problem with this. This could last for years and years, but it's just incorrect because the iron pipe and the copper is supposed to be isolated with a dielectric union, and you can certainly use brass here instead. Outside of that, we're done. So we're still here on Sutton and just kind of going through the home. We actually found the home is plumbed with copper, which is good because of the problems they're having with the iron pipe out here, the galvanized piping. We're just going through and taking a look underneath and seeing what's been done, and looks like they've updated in a lot of the bathrooms and different sink areas. They've upgraded to new supply lines and shutoff valves, so that's good. Everything looks good underneath. It doesn't indicate any water leaking. These faucets in here, the pop-ups aren't working because the rods that pull up the that drain is they're snapped off. So that's missing, and that's not critical at all. Same thing here. So both the faucets would need to be a new lift rod installed, and to get the drain to work, this one's just sitting in here. So, but that's the only thing. I mean, everything else looks in great shape. We'll test the tub out, make sure that's good. It looks like it might even have. No, it's just storage and not access.
Access is outside.
Okay. So other water heater room here out on Sutton. You know, everything looks good in here. There's nothing bad going on at all. I would recommend at some point that these two lines, the copper supply lines, be replaced with the new stainless steel. You can see this one's starting to break down somewhat. Not an emergency, not a big deal, but that would be the only thing I'd recommend for in this water heater room. So everything looks good out here, and outside of that, we are done.